I'm Paul Bradshaw. I'm the founder of helpmeinvestigate.com, the publisher of the online journalism blog, and I'm a reader in online journalism at Birmingham City University. What problems am I solving? I'm trying to solve a problem of how to do journalism efficiently and how to engage people with issues of power. When we first started the site, we had two employees. One was a support journalist and the other one was a community manager. And the key word there is support. That journalist's job was to support the public in helping them to investigate. The community manager's job was to form that community and support that community as well. So it's kind of turning the traditional view of journalism as us being on top and broadcasting to the masses upside down to some extent.
What's the business model, of course, is the magic question. I mean, do you make money out of this, or how do you fund it?
We are exploring funding models. Initially, we were funded by Channel 4 and Screen West Midlands. We knew very early on that advertising was not a viable model. There are also obvious ethical issues and conflicts of interest issues with advertising. We also were pretty confident that syndication was not an option. When you're looking at reduced budgets from major media outlets, when your objective is to get the story as widely heard as possible, syndication isn't going to work. So if you want to look for a business model, you need to look at web-native business models, I think, and we're looking at models like software as a service, freemium possibly, but looking at that idea of the value being generated by the community and you subsidising that activity, that community, by selling this kind of side effects, the benefits that you accrue through that.
And to what extent are journalists making creative use of social media, not just to broadcast the fact they've written something, but actually to work with the public?
Well, I think journalists are learning, and I think a year ago, most journalists who were using things like Twitter and Facebook, it was broadcasting. Now, I think you're seeing an increasing number who are gaining in confidence and literacy, if you like. They're having genuine conversations. I think the Channel 4 Newsroom do particularly well. I think Radio 4 Today use it very well. The Guardian, a lot of journalists at The Guardian use it very effectively. So there's best practice there that other journalists and news organisations are starting to see.
Okay. You brought a lot to the table yesterday. What are you taking away?
Well, I don't think I've digested it yet. Certainly some interesting experiences of another crowdsourced investigative project at the Faster Times. I've had a couple of conversations with those guys and I'm really interested in their experiences. Cenk's experiences with his web TV channel, The Young Turks. That's really interesting to me because he's been going for 5 years, which is an enormous amount of time for web TV. And also the kind of Dutch culture. I think all too often there's a massive focus on the Anglo-American axis and media and their experiences. And there's this assumption that we can export that model to other countries, which is nonsense. You know, there are completely different media environments, completely different industries. And so it's very interesting to me to look at how the Dutch media is organised and the different problems that they're facing.